Hey my friend, welcome to a new Porcupine Tree songwriting analysis lesson. So I've done a Porcupine Tree lesson last week and it was so popular and people were asking for more. So here I am. So last week we were saying that Steven Wilson uses a simple chord shape and modifies it to create most of the motifs and chord progressions in the music of Porcupine Tree. But something else they've been doing in many songs for me is a trick that you have to know because it really exemplifies the sound and what Porcupine Tree is. And that trick is to use a bass groove as a pedal point. So let me explain what this means. A pedal point in music is usually to take a chord progression and apply the same bass note on all chords, so the same lowest note on all chords. So for example, if I have a chord progression that goes like G, and by the way, I am tuned in drop D tuning. So if I want to play a G on the 6th string, this is going to be on the 5th fret and not on the 3rd because I have to go 2 frets higher to compensate for my 6th string being lower in drop D, right? So if I have a chord progression that goes like this, G, E flat, F, and C. That's a regular chord progression, but if I apply a pedal point to this chord progression, it means that I'm gonna stick the same bass note as the lowest note to all chords here. So that G note here is gonna be the lowest notes to all of my chords. So now it sounds like this. It sounds a lot different, right? It has a kind of totally different feel to it. And this is something that prog bands are using a lot of the times because it creates unique chord progressions and now all chords are tied and refer to that bass note that sticks at the bottom. So it creates a great sound. So now this is what a pedal point is in a nutshell at a micro level. But at a macro level, what Porcupine Tree is doing is instead of using just one note under the chords, they're going to use a whole bass groove as the pedal point. So the groove has to revolve around the root note so that the key is clear. The key of the song is clear. But you can change the chords on top of that however you want. So let me show you some examples. So in the song Dot 3 on the album In Absentia, you have a bass riff that goes like this. Right? And then they're gonna change the chords on top of that regardless if it fits on that bass line. So it's usually on keyboard, but I'm gonna apply some effects on my guitar. So you see the bass line stays static, it stays the same underneath and I can change to any chord I want on top. So in my case here, the chord progression was D sus2, that famous chord he always uses, and then it was an F major 7, or just F major, followed by C, or C add 9 that he uses a lot, and B flat major 7. So it doesn't matter if that doesn't fit on top of the bass riff. Since it's repetitive and we expect it to stay the way it is, it's okay to play almost any chord on top, even chords that do not fit in your key. So in that case, these were 4 chords that were already in our key, but I'm going to show you an example where it's not the case. So for example, in the song Hatesong, we have something that goes like this. Right, and then they play chords like this on top. So the first one is a B minor, it's our root chord. But the next chord a C chord. So you see that C chord right here shouldn't normally be there, because in our key of B minor, the C chord is not present in there. And when you have the bass line that really clashes with, it shouldn't fit, but it's a technique that they use to add more tension in the music. And since the bass line is so solid and so reaffirming the key, it doesn't matter if you have some really, really tense chords on top of it. You want another example? Yeah, of course. The song, the start of Something Beautiful from the album Deadwing. You have something like this, so I have to play it in drop D. So then you don't have big chords, but you have some arpeggios that are telling you that there are some chords underneath it, like this. So this should be A minor, right? So this should be a C sus2. This one could be a G. And this one is clearly a D7. So you have this. So once again, that's a great technique to have that bass grooving here and changing the chords on top. And it really gives that Porcupine Tree sound. So if you want to apply it yourself, you just have to find a good bass line that revolves around the root of your key and then change the chords on top. It doesn't matter if the chords are in your key or outside your key. It's just the amount of tension that you want to apply on top. And talking about tension, in the music of Porcupine Tree, they are not always playing some clear chords on top of the bass line here that acts as a pedal point. Sometimes they are just playing one single note to add some tension notes to the groove, and that could imply some chords, but the goal is just to add more tension. So something that Steven Wilson does a lot is to find the root note. So for example, if my key is E minor, he would play the note E since it's my root note, and then he goes one fret below. In that case, that would be a D sharp, and that note is not supposed to fit on my E minor chord, right? On my E minor key. But he's gonna use it to add more tension on top of the groove here. So for example, if you have a song like Russia on Ice, like the big riff towards the end of the song that goes like this. that riff, right? So he's gonna locate the root note of that key. So in that case, we are kind of in a Locrian scale, right? I'm in drop D, excuse me. So So this is kind of a Locrian mode when he plays that. So if I play a D sharp on top of that, this does not fit in my Locrian mode on top of that, and it creates a lot of tension. So it sounds like this if I add more reverb. That D sharp. So you see that D sharp note shouldn't fit in our mode or key, but it added something really, really cool. And I mean, Steven Wilson's apply that in so many songs in Porcupine Tree. For example, the song, the creator has a master tape. It goes something like this. And then he's gonna do something like this. So you see, this is exactly the same principle here. So the key here is A minor. So he's locating the A note, which is the root note, and then he goes one fret down to that nasty note to add some tension. Another riff, this is the last example because the lesson is long enough as it is, but I want to show it, this one to you. So in the song Deadwing, you have a big riff like this. Right? You know that riff, right? So it's exactly the same thing, same principle here. So what's the key of this riff? It's D minor, right? So let's locate the D note and let's go one fret down. And in that case, he plays B flat and A like a harmonic minor scale. So it sounds like this. I think he plays them twice as fast. I'm gonna redo it. Yeah, that's like this. Wow, okay, so you get the principle here. If you want to create Porcupine Tree style music, you have to do these two things. First of all, find a good bass groove that revolves around the key of your song, around the root, and then you can create a chord progression on top with any chords you want. It doesn't matter because the bass groove is gonna be the foundation that's gonna hold everything together. And if you want, you can add those tension notes a la Steven Wilson. So you locate the root of your key. Let's say it's E minor, that's gonna be E. And then you just play the one fret below to add some tension, or any note that doesn't fit in your key to add some tension. So I hope you like this little analysis of Porcupine Tree. If you want, And if you like the way I teach and the kind of stuff I teach on guitar, head over to my website, first link in the description box. I have a free mini course on ambient chords. You can keep the chord charts and the exercises for free and download them to practice. And my students have been loving this course for many, many months now. So go in the first link in the description box and get your free course if you like my teaching style. And if you want me to cover anything else about Porcupine Tree, just go ahead and go in the comment section and ask me for anything. I love analyzing this kind of music. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, au revoir.